Hey guys, Lorena Magana here with NewFilmmakers Los Angeles. Today, I'm talking to director Jonathan Nix about his film, The Missing Key. Let's take a look at a clip from the film.
It's set in 1920s Venice. It's a reimagined Venice because it's animated, so everything's painted and drawn. It's really about a young musician who's trying to write a piece of music that has meaning. At the same time, he's up against another young music student whose intentions are very different. They're all about fame and glory and being technically the best. So it's sort of looking at this kind of dichotomy of intention, I guess, in terms of how they create music. It's all about music, but having said that, also one of the characters has a gramophone for a head, and the bad guy has a telephone for a head. And it's in a world of characters that have usually gramophones for heads. They all talk with music, with records, and so it's pretty weird. How did you come up with the idea behind your film? It originally came about, I had a little portable cassette deck in the corner of my room, and it was, this is going back 10 years ago, and it always looked really sad, like a little sad person. It had, the speakers were like big eyes, and I ended up making my first short based on that a character that I developed out of this cassette player, which was called Hello, and it was about this sad little guy with a cassette player for a head, and he falls in love with a girl with a CD player for a head. He's a little bit old-fashioned, she's a modern girl, and he tries to ask her out, mixing up tapes, but he keeps getting it wrong. And in the end, he goes to see a wise old gramophone head for advice, and this gramophone head has this huge, extensive library of records, and he finds the right song. He tapes it on his head and then plays it to her, and they fall in love. And that was my first short, which kind of, as a musician, was really fun to do all the dialogue as songs, and that was really enjoyable. So I wanted to extrapolate on that world, and I ended up taking the gramophone head, who was in that film as a sort of the old wise guy, and I made a film about him when he was young in the 1920s. I love 1920s music and architecture, and so it was, the advantage of animating it and drawing it all yourself is you can kind of make any world you want, so that was fun.
So you wrote it, directed it, and then was a part of the composing team, correct?
I had two great composers work with me, Miles Nicholas, who's now based in London, and my wife, Catherine Brownhill. I wanted to have more of a hand in the music, but it was actually fantastic having those guys involved. I was so caught up in drawing it, painting it, compositing it. I composited all the 600 shots in the film, and really I had too many hats. There was too much for me to do, but the nature of the production, no one else could do it. So, yeah, but pretty much every single level of the film, I was either, I was personally involved in it. It was, almost destroyed me.
How did you get started as an animator? My
background's actually in fine art. I studied printmaking and drawing and painting, and actually at the end of my degree, my fine arts degree, I immediately joined a band and then did that for 10 years. I've always loved music, and music and art are my two great passions, I guess. And animation was a logical choice. I actually went and did a postgraduate in animation thinking I could combine the two things I love. So that's how I ended up in animation. But yeah,